normally on a Wednesday night weekly podcast show out of Nashville, Tennessee. And yeah, we got a special night tonight, Friday night edition with Violet Sky. So, all right, looks good there. That looks good there. And we should be YouTubing. Okay, let me go ahead and get the Violet. Let me go ahead and get the intros here, and we'll get going.
Sure.
Hi, this is Ivan from Men Without Hats, and you're listening live from Nashville to the D&D Dynamite 80s podcast with DC and DH.
Live from Nashville, Tennessee, you are listening to the D&D Dynamite 80s podcast with your hosts, DC and DH. So guys, take it away. All right. Welcome in, folks. Welcome in. Yeah, DC with you tonight. Excuse me. DH had another obligation to take care of tonight, and he said he would try to get in here if he could, and we'll see if he tags on here after a while. But anyway, we are honored to have Violet Sky with us, and Violet is one of those 80s nostalgia experts. Just unbelievable. She's a singer, DJ, does a little bit of everything. Violet, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks for the invite to be on the show.
Oh, we're honored. I've got to ask this starting out though. For your age, what was your influence to be in the decade of the 80s like you do this?
Yeah, so I mean, I always grew up of having an appreciation for vintage and older things. My mom grew up in the 60s, so I grew up with a lot of 60s and 70s stuff. Once I hit about 15, I kind of realized that wasn't really my thing. And I kind of just found the 80s on my own. I had watched a bunch of John Hughes films just by Google search. I was like, oh, 80s movies. I like the way they're produced.
Yeah.
What other ones are available? And then I watched Girls Just Want to Have Fun. And that was kind of just the Kickstarter to everything and who I am today.
Yeah. Are you kind of surprised that there's so many people your age or maybe even a little bit younger or whatever that are doing some of this same stuff? Because I know you're friends with some of these people because we've had some of them on the show, and they've mentioned different names.
I mean, I probably would have been more surprised back when I was really getting into this around like 15, 16. I'm 23 now.
Yeah.
And because I made my Instagram account to begin with, not to be like an influencer or anything or, have a lot of followers, but to actually just make friends that like the same things as me because I felt there was no one out there that was like me. So I think it's awesome now to know that the community spans so many generations and so many people, and it's accessible to more people, especially my age, to really connect with others that like the same things as them. So it's become a really cool thing.
Yeah. Do you have any idea how many collectibles you have? Like a number?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know. I know I have like probably, let's say like 200 records,
Wow.
45s, 12-inch. That's also now because I do vinyl, DJing. Not well.
Yeah,
I'm still learning how to
and
mix
we'll get in
and
there and
everything.
talk about all that. Yeah, we'll talk about that. But yeah, so over 200 albums
tapes,
and records. Wow.
Yeah, cassette tapes, probably around.
And that's
100
all the
of
80s.
those.
All
Yes,
the 80s.
all 80s.
Wow.
Aside from
Isn't
my
that
Monkeys records from when I was a kid,
Right,
I still
right.
have those.
Okay.
VHS, TV. I have a 1992 Camaro.
Yes, I knew that. Yeah, I
all
read that. Seen
lamps,
pictures of it. Yep.
knickknacks, all the things. So
Yeah. How about dress articles? Like
like clothes.
the clothes. Sure,
My
you got a
whole
lot of that
closet.
kind of stuff too, do you?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
now I work at a vintage clothing store.
Oh,
so
really?
It's kind
Okay.
of dangerous job. That I spend my money with clothes all the time too.
Get a
But
look, see it's stuff coming in and out. Yeah, I got you.
Right.
Yeah, that's a plus for sure.
Right.
Yeah. So do you find yourself, do you do a lot of this like full time, like dressing the parts and all of it? I know like with your hair, of course you do, but I was just curious about how you dress and stuff too. Is that pretty much on a regular basis too?
Pretty much 24/7, even off of online and everything.
Yeah.
And like I don't have modern clothes anymore. I got rid of all my modern clothes a
okay.
long time ago. So it's kind of hard for me to dress normally today because I don't really have resources to do that anymore.
Yeah, and
so,
here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. I mean, what's
Hmm.
normal anyway? So
Right. No,
there
I
you go.
agree.
No, that's awesome. That's cool stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, but like I said, we've had two or three different Jordan and a couple of
Hmm.
others on as well. And I'm just fascinated by what made you get involved in this. It's just
Hmm.
cool stuff. So are you always on the lookout for stuff? Anything 80s? Is that how it kind
Pretty.
of happens?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always going to thrift stores and clothing, for
Yeah.
clothing and other different items. I've been having to dial it back a little bit just because I have so much now. So I have like three big bags of clothes I got to get rid
Yeah.
of and that I don't
Yeah.
really wear anymore. But no, yeah, thrifting. I've always went to thrift stores as a kid too, and I think about
Yeah.
it. I'm like, oh well, even when I wasn't into '80s stuff, I was still going with like my parents as a kid to like flea markets and stuff. So I feel like
Sure.
that's always been there, and now it just kind
Yeah.
of ties into my life now too, because that's like the only place you can get stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any close friends now that and what is their opinion about it? What do they
Mhm.
think about that?
Yeah.
Especially like if they're really into their time period, what do they think? I'm just curious what
Mhm.
others think that are close to you that maybe
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
do the same thing.
right. I mean, my best friend Sophia, she was my college roommate. She
Uh-huh.
doesn't like the 80s. Well, not that she doesn't like some things from the
Oh,
80s,
okay.
but she's
Okay.
not into it like this. She doesn't dress this way, but
Yeah.
she supports me and I really appreciate that. So, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. So she thinks it's cool.
yeah, she thinks it's
Yeah.
cool. And I
Yeah.
also feel
Yeah.
like in my life, I probably wouldn't surround myself with people that don't support me
Sure.
100%,
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think people would think that it's cool, to do
Hmm.
that. Yeah, I think that would be awesome. I'm also very curious about. I had read somewhere where you had done some. It was some '80s music tracks or
Hmm.
song, that hadn't been released,
Yeah.
and you put your vocals to us. Talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah. So back in 2020, mid pandemic, I had bought a record at the record store just after everything had opened up again. And it was by this band called Shy Talk. And they only had one album in
Mm. Mm-hmm.
1985. It was a self
Mm-hmm.
titled album.
Mm-hmm.
And they had one song called Excuse Me, which got a music video.
Yeah.
But I listened to their song Dreaming on that album and I was like, wow, this is incredible. I was like, it's not on streaming services. It's nowhere to be found on the internet. Nobody's talking about this band at all. And I would just make videos on my page. And this is shortly after I had kind of gotten a smaller platform on Instagram and TikTok. So I posted this video of me singing their song Dreaming or like dancing around my room. And the keyboard player was looking up his old band on Instagram or on, the internet one
Searching
day. And
out
he comes,
people. Yeah. Yeah.
right, like, oh, Shy Talk. Wonder what people posted about us, 30 so years
Isn't
ago.
that something?
And
Yeah.
up pops my video, and he's like, why does this girl know who we are? She's like 5. I was like 19 or something at the time.
Sure.
But
Sure.
he was
Sure.
like, what? How did you find out about us? And I told him the story. And he's like, oh, that's cool. So we started archiving a lot of their old photos and unreleased videos and unreleased second album as well, because I'm big into
Yeah.
archival work.
Uh-huh.
But he was like, "Oh, you're a singer," and I was like, "Well, yeah, I sing as a hobby. I haven't really done my own stuff because I'm not really a writer or a producer. I'm not like that skilled in that department." And
Sure.
so
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
was just like, "Oh, well, I have all these, demos I had written back in the '80s, and we didn't really release them then, like publicly. And so I'm gonna see what I have in my collection." And I was like, "Okay, sure," thinking it's probably well,
He
he
was
didn't
gonna
say they
blow
were
it
from
up.
the
Yeah.
'80s.
Yeah.
He just said like, "Oh, I have some demos. I haven't really done anything with in a long time." And I was like, "Oh, they're probably new, you know." And then he sends me this like file on my email of all these tracks that were like actually from the '80s, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And my
Blown
first song
away, I
I
bet.
heard
Yeah. Yeah.
was "A Heartbeat Away," and I was like, "You've got to be kidding me! Like these are actual '80s pop songs from like the era of time, like '87 to like
How
'91,
cool is
two,
that?
that
Yeah.
I emulate." So we started working on a project together to record those, and thankfully he doesn't live too far away, so we're able to collaborate like in person as well.
Oh, isn't that something, man? What
Yeah,
fate? It's just fate
I
meant
think
to be
so.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just unreal. Yeah. I didn't know all the detail of that, but I had read
Hmm.
little bits and pieces.
Right.
Man, that's so cool. Yeah, and I remember that band, by the way. I do.
Oh,
We
awesome.
were DH and myself grew up together and
Mhm.
same age and all that. Lived on the same street actually
Mhm.
growing up. So we've known each other all our lives. And yeah, we were 86 grads. So
Okay.
you said that was 85-ish.
Yeah, a year after the album.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Mhm.
But I do remember that band for sure.
Yay. Not many
Um,
people do, so it's always great to hear.
yeah, yeah, that is cool stuff. That is cool stuff. But when you were saying all that, and when I read it in the article, I was like, I remember them. I do.
Right.
So that is so neat. Yeah. So, what do you want to do with with the music part of this? You want to continue to let that grow? I mean, because here's
Mhm.
the thing, from my viewpoint, the person looking, from the outside, you've got you got the DJ stuff, you got the musicianal stuff, you got the nostalgia and all that important stuff that you're doing with the '80s decade stuff. So you've got some pretty full plates of things going on.
Yeah.
So where does that kind of fall, like the music part of this? Is that
So like career wise,
yeah, is that something
yeah,
that you really want to push to the forefront?
I do. I definitely want to make more content about my music and talk about it more because I think that music is my main passion.
Okay.
It's interesting. I went to school for music industry in
Oh,
college and I got my
okay,
degree
okay.
in that. So I don't know. I feel like I wear many hats. I have a lot of different
Yeah,
passions.
yeah,
I love archival work, like transferring video and film and things like that.
yeah.
I want to expand my skills on. Singing definitely more in the
Mm-hmm.
forefront to where it is right
Mm-hmm.
now. Content creation is fun, but it's not like my main passion. It's something I do really love to do.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know, I did a little acting thing recently. It's not going to be publicly released because it's like a proof of concept. But that was a cool experience to be a part of. So yeah, I don't know. I just want to be able to do a lot of different things in my career and kind of hop around and where I'm needed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that'd
Yeah.
be the best route.
With the song, and what was cool is a lot of the guests that we have on, we'll
Mhm.
have to have like the actual musician to like do the background music too. And I don't know if you've seen on Instagram where we promoted your show and
Yeah,
we actually had your. That's pretty cool when we can use
yeah,
the person's own music. That's pretty cool stuff.
yeah.
So
Yes, thanks for
that ought to
doing
make you
that
feel
too.
good. Yeah, that ought to make you feel very proud of what you've accomplished.
Yeah,
Just to have that out
definitely.
there. Yeah, yeah. So is it stuff you can find like on Spotify? Purchase it
Hmm.
like that? Is that? And we'll
Yes,
talk about all that. We'll talk about
right.
how to get all that stuff out to the public and everything. Of course, you got so many followers that know that now, but
Right.
on our end of it, of course. But yeah, I just like I said, I'm just amazed every time I run into folks like yourself that are making those '80s so special to everybody. And what kind of
Yeah.
comments do you get? Like just is it just all kinds of ages?
Yeah, that's what's
Yeah,
cool about
yeah,
social media too, and the
yeah.
whole like 80s community is it's doesn't just appeal to one generation. So
Mm-hmm.
there's baby boomers and Gen X that lived it and they miss it
Yeah,
and it's very
yeah,
nostalgic for them and cool to see someone of a different generation kind of reliving that in a way.
absolutely.
And then I have like millennials who had their childhood was kind of bordering on then as well and they lived it as like kids in the
Right.
90s. And then I'm Gen Z, and so I have Gen Z kids my age. I guess not kids anymore. I'm like 23. That's fine. So like Gen Z
Sure.
people my age and maybe a little bit younger that didn't live through the 80s, but always felt a connection to it,
A
wish they
connection.
had.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
same thing. I think there's some Gen Alpha now too. I'm not sure. Maybe they're still Gen Z, but like kids that are like 13, 14, 15 that are
They're
finding out
finding
things
it.
through Stranger
Yeah,
Things
yeah.
or just TikTok algorithm of liking
Or
older stuff. And
you guys like
yeah,
you? Yeah, yeah.
right.
They're
So,
following you guys.
mhm,
Just amazing stuff.
same.
Yeah. Let's do a little bit of fun here. Um,
Okay.
Probably let's do this. Let's start out with this first. How about one of your all-time favorite '80s TV shows,
Let's see. There's
and why?
two.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Oh,
So there's
perfect. And
Miami
why?
Vice.
Okay.
I love Miami Vice. Just
What sticks out to you about it?
the architecture, the way it's filmed, the
Really?
fashion,
Interesting.
all
Okay.
of that in Miami and the Art
Sure.
Deco postmodern revival. And it's just got a
Cool.
great storyline and
Yeah,
acting
yeah.
as well. And the music in it, oh my gosh.
Crockett. Yeah, Crockett.
Yes.
And all
And
those. Yes.
then
Yeah, yeah.
Married with Children, because it just has also great fashion and it's just ridiculous.
Interesting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's go into the next one. How about an 80s comedy movie?
Comedy. Hmm.
So you would be an
Comedy
expert.
movie.
You would be able to put people spot on to some of these things that I'm talking about. If we were walking around in the old video store, back in the day,
Right.
you could pinpoint us where we needed to go.
Comedy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I'm like looking at my VHS cabinet because I like a lot of like more
right.
like rom-coms. Comedy. Outrageous Fortune was really funny, and Ruthless
Okay.
People. Two of those
Yes.
with Bette Midler.
Great,
Really
great
good.
movies. Yeah,
And
both
She
of them are great
Devil.
movies. She
I would
Devil's a
consider
good
that a
one.
comedy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it would. It would. Well, and it's that time of the year. So how about one of the best 80s horror movies?
I'm not that big into horror, which
Are you
is
not?
what
Yeah.
a lot of people judge me on. But there are a couple that I really did like. I love Chopping Mall because I love 80s mall culture and seeing the Sherman
Those
Oaks
shopping malls are
Galleria
great. Yeah, that's 80s.
back in
That's
the
80s all
day.
over that. Yes.
So that one I've
Shopping
seen.
mall. What about that? Okay.
Cheerleader Camp.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. I remember
and
that.
what else have I seen? I think ages ago with Linnea Quigley, it was Slimeball Babes at the Bowl-O-Rama. I'm pretty sure it's called. Yeah,
Okay.
those B
Okay.
movies.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So
No Nightmare on Elm Street, huh?
no, my friend's
No.
being Johnny Depp for Halloween.
Oh,
Oh no,
okay.
is that the right
Yeah, yeah,
movie?
he was in
Okay.
Johnny Depp. Yeah, Johnny Depp was in it.
I
He
confuse
sure
the
was.
two sometimes, the two.
Yep, yep. He was one
Yeah,
of the guys in it. Sure was
right.
in the
So
first
I
one.
got to
Yeah.
see that whole series, especially, is it Freddy Krueger Takes New York? Is that a different series? Oh my
I,
gosh, I'm making up a lot of
that may
stuff right now.
be. Yeah, I don't know about
Yeah,
being in New
it's the
York,
other
so that must
one.
be a different series. Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street. It's the other one. Friday the 13th.
Right. Yeah.
I'm
Then
so bad with horror.
Halloween, Michael Myers, I guess.
Halloween.
The
Halloween
Halloween
is the
ones.
other one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I got to see all of those at some
Okay.
point in my life. I promise I will.
Right. Right.
Not my
Okay.
strong point.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. That's all right. Let's go to music. Let's talk music for a second here. How about the one of your favorite solo artists?
Oh gosh, there's like so many.
And it's okay. It's okay if you want
Yeah,
to name more than one. That's all right.
probably Alicia. She
Really?
sang, yeah, she
Yes.
had her
Yes.
first little freestyle album, kind of freestyle adjacent in 85. And then she did the song for Mannequin, Do You Dream About Me? I love that whole
Dream about,
second album
yeah.
in
Yeah.
87. And then her 1990 album, Bounce Back. And like probably one of my favorites, 80s singers.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Alicia. Okay. All right. Very good. How about group?
Group, Shy Talk. But I
Yeah,
already
there you
said
go.
that
You got to,
already.
yeah,
So,
you got to say Shatov for sure.
right,
Yeah, absolutely.
always.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Let's talk some more about what DH and I love to do is on a weekly deal. The person that loses the bet, or the person that not necessarily the bet, but the one that loses the choice, they have to pay for breakfast. So here's what we've done: several of these, and in our guests, some of them have heard about it, and they get a kick out of doing a part of this. So I want to include you on it as well. But some of our viewers also have fun with it. Let me give you a few of our old ones first, okay? And I'll see how well DH is not on here to be able to kind of steer his vote his way, so he can't make you lean his way the way he likes to do sometimes. Let's see what some of them we have done. We've done some dandies over the last several months. Michael Jackson or Prince? Which one would you choose to be your favorite?
It's tough because when I was 9, I was obsessed with Michael Jackson. But
Mm-hmm.
as an adult, I feel like I lean more into the Memphis sound of Prince more
Mm-hmm.
now. So
Mm-hmm.
probably Prince.
Okay, I would have won that one. See, that's
Okay.
why I'm glad DH not on here where he can sway people his way.
Right.
Let's see. Let's do another one. Van Halen. We did Van Halen versus Motley Crue.
Van Halen.
Okay.
But
Now
like David
I
Lee
lost
Roth,
that
Van
one.
Halen.
Okay, I lost that one.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. David Lee Roth. Okay. Are you a David Lee Roth fan? Okay. I love Sammy Hagar. I just do.
I
I
do like
love
him
him. I love
too.
him. I love him. I love him. So
Just feels
yeah,
like a
we go back
different
and forth
band.
about that. We go back. David Lee's the man, and I get it. He was a great front guy and good showman and all that. But I love those Hagar years too. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see. Who else did we do? Did we do any females against each other? I want to say we did. It's nothing coming to my mind right now. It probably will.
I'm thinking of one, but I just can't answer it. And it's
what?
Debbie Gibson or Tiffany.
That would be fantastic.
I cannot answer that one ever.
Okay.
I just too hard.
Well, guess what? We'll use that one because
Okay, cool.
that's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm writing it down. I'm writing that down.
Cool.
Tiffany, that's a great one. Tiffany versus Debbie Gibson. Because it's about time to change this one that we're doing right now that I'm going to give you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Foreigner or Styx?
Foreigner.
Okay, I would have won.
Yeah.
So DH, when you see the recording of this, you're buying the breakfast because I won that one right out. I didn't sway her one way or the other on it. I just told her the choices. So there you go, big boy. You got that. Hopefully he'll have that and know what's up with that. So I won that one, DH, for sure. For sure. Yeah. So let's talk about for a few minutes here. The music thing. How did the DJ thing come about?
Yeah. So I've been collecting vinyl records for probably since I was 13. And when I got into the 80s, I was like, oh, this is something I already enjoy. And a lot of music is on vinyl. So I can continue, this hobby I have.
Yeah.
And I had done a radio show in college 2 years ago, but that was all digital, like YouTube playlists. But it was kind of like my first experience of showing music to the world that I really enjoyed. And then earlier this year, I did a social media content creation internship for Maker Park Radio, which is a local radio station near me. And they were like, oh, you can also have a show. And I was like, oh, sure. So I realized I had turntables in the studio, and I was like, all right, I want to figure out how to queue up vinyl records and do an all vinyl show because I have so many of them. I have enough for 2 hours, every so few weeks. So I just decided to start doing that. And then I took a couple like vinyl DJ classes. I actually had one, I think, last night with, learning how to beat match and mix and do BPMs and all that. So that's something I'm going to have a lot more practice to get to. But I've been invited to, just do some like queuing up DJ gigs here and there, which has been a lot of fun. So definitely want to keep going with that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. That is so cool stuff. Yeah. So, but the music thing is really at the top of your list.
Yeah, I definitely want to post more like stuff about my singing, and we're finishing the album at some point. I want to film more music videos. I definitely need to be better about talking about it online because if I don't, then people forget about it. So I definitely want to focus more on that.
Well, there you go.
Book more gigs and stuff. Maybe a small tour would be cool at some point.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. Hey, do you a Tiffany tour, man?
I would love
the malls. That you could be. Wouldn't that be something? That'd be pretty ironic.
To do a mall tour. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that something? Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be so cool to bring some of that stuff back like that. Because you just don't see it like you used to.
No.
I mean, we still have malls. There's malls, but you don't see like talented people like that performing in them. That was a big thing in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
It was huge.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, that's our
that
first
you got
music
that stuff,
video.
that you promote, how you promoted it.
Hmm.
Then I'll never forget. I can't remember who it was, but it was somebody here, that was promoting in Nashville back
Hmm.
in the '80s at Hickory Hollow Mall was the mall that we hung out at,
Hmm.
and they said now you can go, you can get their single right now down at the Record Bar or whatever the name of the actual local, or the store that was in the
Hmm.
mall, the record store at the time. I
Right.
mean, it was a great promotion. It's like
Hmm.
now, pick up, and everybody would try to get down there and get a copy and get it autographed, and whoever it
Right.
was, and that's just great stuff. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
great. It's just neat stuff that can happen.
Right.
We've kind of stepped all over this too without me actually coming out and saying it because we love to ask this of all our guests.
Hmm.
Um, and you're living it, and that's what's just truly amazing and cool to me is
Hmm.
that what, in your opinion, and you're an expert to ask this to, in your opinion, why is this '80s thing stick around so strong to people?
Hmm.
In your opinion,
I think,
of all ages,
right.
of all ages.
I think it was just such a unique time compared to everything that came before it and came after it.
Mm,
Um, it was a decade of decadence, as they say. Nothing was too bold, too crazy. Nothing was too cringy. People were just having fun. They didn't care how insane they may have looked to people of modern, generations that, we look back on the
yeah,
big hair and the cheesy
yeah,
music videos. And yeah, I feel like our generation has a very judgmental view of it in a way as a whole, not necessarily the niche that really do love the 80s. I think that people weren't afraid to really start to be themselves for the first time,
wow,
whether it was,
wow,
expressing themselves with makeup or music.
yeah,
And
yeah,
technology was a thing, but it wasn't overruling the world. It
yeah,
was kind of
yeah,
there to advance some different things. We still have that human connection. And then after that, it kind of just really took off. And yeah, it's just it's so much different than the time that we have today. And there was a lot of great music that came out of it, a lot of great movies. I think
sure,
that the music in a way was a little bit more authentic, just in less processed when it comes to technological advances and vocal processing. And I think we hear like the modern pop music of today and it sounds very commercialized
right,
versus back in the 80s, like you had Huey Lewis and Madonna playing probably on the same radio station, and they're so incredibly different artists. I feel like the popular music landscape was a lot more diverse in a way than
yeah,
it is now when it comes to like the top 40.
yeah, yeah. I can't remember the artist that we had on. It was an '80s. He was part of a. I want to
Mm-hmm.
say it was a gentleman from Glass Tiger, I think.
Okay, cool.
But anyway, I think it was him. I don't want to step over the boundary here, but anyway, it was somebody that we have interviewed that said that the difference today with a lot of the artists is that if you have the right look, it's so much technology advanced now that they can make
Mm-hmm.
it work for you, even if you
Right.
don't have that vocal talent.
Yeah.
If you can sell it, they can make it work. And
Yep.
that's what was disappointing to him is
Mm-hmm.
that we were in there doing what we do, and the talent that we had,
Mm-hmm.
when we were making our stuff, and then they've got what they do now.
Right.
He said that that's why he was kind of disappointed in the technology part of it nowadays, is that you
Mm-hmm.
can make anybody sound the way you want to make them. So,
Right. Yeah, in my music, we
uh,
don't use a lot of vocal processing effects either to keep it totally authentic to the tracks
that's
themselves.
awesome. Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
just because maybe a little reverb, and that's really it. There's no like auto tune and
Yeah.
filtering and things
You
like
know,
that, just because it keeps
that
it
is, I'm glad you
more
said that. Yeah, I mean,
accurate.
because I've listened to several of your songs,
Hmm.
and what I love about it, it takes you back to the '80s.
Right.
Oh, it's just so cool. It is,
Thanks.
and yeah, I mean, it's truly a special gift that you got to do these things that you do.
Yeah.
It just, there's got to be, I don't know how I want to say this. I guess it's got to be something that you're very, very proud of because it's a unique thing that you're doing.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
never in a million years did I think that anything like this could happen. And that's why I
Yeah.
believe a lot of like
Yeah.
manifesting and what something that's meant to be will happen. And the energy that you put out into the world is what comes back to you. Because I
Sure.
wasn't even directly looking to connect with David or to
Yeah.
sing original 80s music. It was just something that kind of happened.
Right. Right.
And so it was just like, oh, okay, Yeah. And now,
Yeah.
like, to know that these songs don't have to sit dormant on a DAT tape in a bin in his studio, and people can listen to them, and I get to sing on real, authentic '80s tracks, which is pretty much the only kind of music I listen to, anyways. And want to emulate,
That just
and
makes it
getting to
so
do that.
special. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
and work with someone that made music that means a lot to me, and to have that mentorship has just
Yeah.
been really, really cool.
Yeah, that is special. It's
Hmm.
got to make him, I guarantee you, if he was here talking with us, it's got to make him feel
Hmm.
very, very good about, man, I made it. I did make a little bit of a a difference in what I did.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if he's probably he may have mentioned that, in passing to you, but it's got to mean something, that's very special. That okay, yeah, what we did was special, and we touched some
Hmm.
lives with what we did.
Yeah,
That is cool
definitely.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Well, talk to us about where everybody can kind of. Oh, before I do that,
Mhm.
music videos. What's your
Yeah.
opinion on the '80s music videos, and do you plan on trying to do something kind of similar with some of
Mhm.
your songs?
Yeah, so I love 80s music videos. I think they're a lot of fun. They're very creative. So I have two music videos out. The first one was for
Oh,
Heartbeat
okay,
Away.
okay,
That one was filmed in Las Vegas, which was just me and my friend running around Caesar's Palace and a couple other places on the strip just filming. It was
yeah,
done on digital, but I did put a VHS filter over it because at the time I didn't have the technology. But going forwards, everything is going to be analog. And then my second music video is for my song Time Out, and that one was filmed in Los Angeles. I hold a gigantic SVHS, more professional Super VHS camera across the country through TSA. They were like, "What the hell is this?" I had to ship the batteries because they were
wow,
like huge lead acid batteries, and they were not letting me on a plane with that. So I filmed
yeah,
that all on analog, and I got the tapes transferred and I edited it together. That was a really fun project, and any other music video is definitely going to be filmed on that format because I mean, film's a little more expensive, and not a little more, like way more expensive.
real
So
okay,
maybe in the future, someday, if I have funds to do something like that, that would be cool. But yeah, definitely, I have plans for "If You Leave Me Now," my music video for that, and I Found Love, but
yes,
haven't had the time to do it recently, and the budget. So I'm trying to think of how to proceed with that.
gotcha, gotcha.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah. So let everybody know where to follow you and all that good stuff, and
Yeah.
that'd be awesome.
So for my music, it's Violet Sky, SKY, no E. And that's on all streaming services. I'm on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. And one of my most popular songs is A Heartbeat Away. But I
Heartbeat
also just
Away is
released a
fantastic,
new,
folks.
thank you. But I also just released a new single called I Found Love, which was from 1990. A little bit further past, but still within my, years.
Your years,
And
yeah,
that
yeah,
one's my newest one. And then, yeah, my YouTube and my social medias, TikTok, Instagram. Yeah, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube mostly I'm on for is Glitter Wave 80s, also
yes,
Violet Sky.
yes.
Mhm.
So, folks, please, talented young lady, and yeah. So get on there, Spotify, buy all her music, and check her
Yeah,
out, and YouTube it, and all that, and go and follow her on all her social stuff. I enjoy your stories and your things that you pop up there. Just to kind of keep in check on what you're doing. Recently and all that. So that is cool stuff.
thanks.
Will you hold tight right there as we kind of close it out?
Sure.
All right. Folks, this has been D&D Dynamite 80s out of Nashville, Tennessee. Once again, DH couldn't be in. I'm DC. And real quick, let's get our sponsors in here real quick, and we'll get on out of here. DND Dynamite 80s would like to thank their sponsors, Hudson's Flags and More, Nesting Project of Smyrna, Tennessee, PJG Marketing, Totally Cool 80s, Charlie Bubbles Cares for Kids, Jackie's Creations on Facebook, Riley Rhodes Art Designs at RileyRhodes.art on Instagram, and the Magic Yarn Project. You can find all these great folks online. You most certainly can. The Magic Yarn Project. Check out those fine folks. They're all volunteers. It's a nonprofit organization, and they make headwear, superheroes, cartoon characters, princesses, headwear for children that are battling cancer. So it's just a fabulous, fabulous group of people that are doing all this on their dime. So yeah, if you can help them out, we're such honored to be a part of that. Paul Karafotis, the actor, is a good friend of ours as well. He does Charlie Bubbles Cares for Kids. He, along with his acting, he's also an author of children's books. And every book that you purchase from Charlie Bubbles Cares for Kids will go to a kid that cannot afford a book. So we're honored with that as being teachers. We know how important the reading skills are, of course, and so those are two nonprofits that we are a huge part of, and that we're very proud to be in our family for sure. So anyway, check those folks out. Violet Sky has been with us. Glitter Wave 80s, is that right? Okay, I want to make sure I had that right. Check her out on our socials, and you can find her on her YouTube channel as well. But all the best to you, safe in all your travels and all your adventures, and we hope that you'll come back when both of us are here and join us again real soon.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for inviting me. It was nice speaking with you.
All right. So from Violet, this is DC, and DC always leads you out by saying, keep playing those 80s, my friends, and we'll see you next week.